Okay? So, today's episode is going to be episode 2. And today's episode is going to be, I don't really think about that. But, let's see. Oh, when this is going back to around or the same time on the Sermon on the Mount. I believe this is after. Jesus talked about adultery, but then he talked about eye for an eye. And we're also going to do, let's see, salt and light. So this is before adultery and the one we're going to start with. So, eye for eye. Jesus says here, so this is in Matthew chapter 5, verses 28 through 42, if you didn't know already. And Jesus says here, "You have heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Go to the one who asks you, and give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you." So, we read here when Jesus is talking about, Jesus is talking about in the Sermon on the Mount, basically what is being said in the Ten Commandments. This is what he's going off of, but he's going more so into what they actually mean, because at this time the Pharisees, basically everything in the law were just going off of action and not like the deeper roots in the actual things that lead to that action, So what Jesus is saying here is, like, yes, it was said, your enemy hurts you, hurt them back. Is pretty much what he's saying. But I say, don't even do that. Don't even hurt a person. And at this time, slapping somebody on their right cheek, is basically a way to humiliate them. So Jesus was like, okay, somebody wants to slap you on your right cheek, turn to them the other also, because instead of you getting embarrassed, it basically embarrasses them. So then it kind of makes them look kind of dumb, doing it. So now we're gonna go back, or we're gonna actually, with the eye for eye stuff, we're gonna go a little bit more here before I go back to the salt and light. But if anybody forces you to do something, do more for that person. Do it. Go the second mile. Like, if you ever heard that saying, go the extra mile. This is basically, I think, pretty much where it came from. So it's like, Jesus is like, okay, somebody makes you do something. Do that extra thing for them. Okay, so now going back to that salt and light thing. This is before the adultery. This is after the Beatitudes. Jesus says, "You are the salt of the light or of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." So before we go on to the light, the light's basically also another way of saying this. But we are a salt of the earth, Salt back then was used to preserve things, like, because they didn't have freezers like we did, and it was like one of the best way to preserve things, because it also, I'm pretty sure, gives it flavor, because salt's just built like that, so like, we gotta be that same way, we gotta be the salt of the world, we gotta be out there, like, preserving things, making things better in a sort of way. So, like, that's basically what we gotta do, So it's like, and then Jesus says in verses 14 through 16, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So, Jesus here is like, what's the point of somebody lighting a candle or a lamp and just putting it under a hat or a bowl or just hiding it? No, you put it on a stand so everybody can see it. That's us. We are basically that town on, like you said, town built on a hill. Everybody can see us, and we're like that outpost, that beacon that's there for people, That's what we should be as the salt and the light of the earth. We're there to help, and we're there to be there, So, like, when Jesus says this, we got to be that different person, we got to be that person that sticks out, because everybody's so trying to fit in, we got to be that one that sticks out the most. We got to be out there sticking out in front of the world, man. We got to be different, and heck, one thing I kind of found out about myself is if you cannot fit in, you're probably, if anything, meant to stand out. If you can't fit in, you're meant to stand out. You're meant to stand out, bro. So stand out. Go out, stand out. I'm speaking for myself a lot of times. We got to go out and stand out, man. We got to be the difference. Because that's what we're meant to be as Christians, So, like, for example, we got to be different by, like, how this world would go eye for eye with somebody, tooth for tooth, We got to be that person that if somebody wants to hit us on our right cheek, let them hit you on the other, because one, it makes us look like the bigger person, and it kind of humiliates that person instead of embarrassing and humiliating you, So, we got to be different in the way that Jesus says to us to be different, man. We got to live like Jesus even though we can't be perfect. So, that's one thing, We can't be perfect. Don't try to be. Just be you, man. But also don't use that you can't be perfect thing to go out and sin. It's not like giving you the right to go sin. No, not at all. Not as one bit is it going to ever give you that right to sin, man. Don't. And one more thing that we're going to talk about here. There's a lot to talk about, but this is a little section. Well, actually, screw the little part I was going to talk about. That was going to be one verse out of Matthew 6. It's going to be Matthew 6:33, but we're going to read Matthew 25 through 34. And it says, Jesus says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow, or reap, or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can anyone you by worrying add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about your clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow and is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you a little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things. And your heavenly Father knows what you need, or knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be given to you as well. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So, how much of us do this on a daily basis, man? I know I most likely do. We worry about what we're going to eat today, or we're going to wear. We worry about tomorrow when tomorrow's not even promised, A lot of the times the first thing you think about when you wake up is tomorrow. Like, man, come on, man. Because sometimes I even be doing the same thing during the day, so I'm nobody to say anything. But we got to quit that, man. You got to teach yourself. That's something I'm getting better at, That's something we all got to get better at. You got to teach yourself and don't even worry about tomorrow. Be thankful for today while you have it, because you don't know if you'll wake up tomorrow. And seek first Jesus today, because today is the day, man, that the Lord has created. So seek first today. Seek first today while you got it. Seek first God today, not just today. Seek first today and worry about today, not tomorrow. So, we gotta only worry about today. We gotta not hurt one another. When somebody wants to hurt us, we just turn the other cheek. We gotta be that salt and light of the earth, man. We gotta be that we gotta be that town on the hill. Sorry. There's just one more verse, that I want to read that, I don't know how many people have heard, but many of us do need to hear it. This is in, 1 Peter, maybe? First Peter, maybe. I don't remember. We're gonna read this one. This isn't the one I wanted to read, but this is still a good one. That we all. I feel like, heck, if you got a Bible, I already have this highlighted, and if you got a highlighter, take one. I'll give you about a second. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay. So, the verse is 1 Peter 5:8. It says, actually, we're going to go with the verse before, because the verse before is also very great. But verse 5, or chapter 5, or 1 Peter 5:7-8, it says, cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. And then verse 8 goes on to say, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. So, verse 7 here, which I don't even have highlighted. But verse 7 here, cast all your anxieties on him, for he cares about you. So everything you're worrying about, dog, just give it all over to the Lord, because he loves you and cares about you, man. And be alert and awake and of sober mind, because Satan he tries to get us at our weakest moment. Like, heck, if you're getting drunk, he prowls around like a roaring lion for somebody to devour, to attack, to destroy, So we always got to be ready, no matter what happens, man. But yeah, that's kind of it for today, man. We're gonna kind of keep this in a New Testament somewhat, but as we go, we're gonna push into the Old Testament as well, because the Old Testament has good things as well, man. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something from today, man. Hopefully you very much did, man. But I'll see y'all's for the next one, man.